Good day and welcome to Living Well in Montana. Living Well in Montana is a program of living independently for today and tomorrow, what we like to call LIFTT, L-I-F-T-T. And LIFTT is a Center for Independent Living, which is a resource and advocacy center for persons with disabilities serving an 18-county region of southeastern and south central Montana. My name is Jed Barton, and it is my privilege to be the Communications and Government Affairs Coordinator at LIFTT. And today's program is kind of neat from our perspective at LIFTT. For the first time in almost 3 years, we will be able to conduct a Living Well in Community workshop. Which you'll learn more about the whys and wherefores of that coming up. But we'll be able to conduct a Living Well in Community workshop in person at our office at 1201 Grand Avenue, starting with a orientation session on the 26th of February. And my guests today are Tara Robison. Tara is an independent living specialist with LIFTT, and Tanya Thomas. Tanya is our peer program coordinator, and together they are co-facilitators. They've been trained and certified as co-facilitators of the Living Well in Community workshop. Thank you for joining us, Tara and Tanya.
Thank you, Chad.
All right, we'll begin at the beginning. What is the Living Well in Community workshop?
The Living Well in Community workshop is a 10-week workshop designed to help people achieve quality of life goals while building skills and supporting health and wellness.
Okay, so you said it's a 10-week?
It's a 10-week and it's
workshop.
It's 1 day a week.
Okay.
For 2 hours. We have an orientation first for people to come in so that they can see what the program's about, to see if that's something that they would be interested in doing, to see if they're ready for it, because some people may or may not be ready to take the course yet. There may be some obstacles. We help them overcome some of those obstacles during the orientation session. And the different classes are to include goal setting, building support, healthy restrictions, staying on course, healthy communications, seeking information, eating well, physical activity, advocacy, and maintenance. And the maintenance part is so that they can continue to use those skills. And they build upon each other as you go through the workshop. It teaches them how to overcome certain obstacles, like if they have a social obstacle or a transportation obstacle, or we kind of help them use resources in their community, at home, things like that to help them overcome these.
Approaching disability from what they call the social model, that the obstacles are created by society, not necessarily just by a person's condition.
Right. Correct, yes.
Okay. Tara, this is your first time facilitating the course. You've just completed the certification. Could you talk a little bit about what the certification class was?
It was an online class, and I actually learned a lot from the class, learning how to take all these different skills and apply one to another, because they do all kind of work together after a while, and learning the different techniques. And then I was on an online, webinar or session or whatever you want to call it, with other facilitators in Montana. And I learned a lot of techniques and things through them, and they have a lot of people that help guide you.
and again, the Living Well in Community curriculum, which descended from a previous program, which I'll talk to Tanya about here in a minute, actually has its roots in Montana. If I remember correctly, it was developed by the Montana Disability and Health Project, which is a consortium of the Department of Public Health and Human Services and the University of Montana, correct?
Yes.
I believe that is correct, yes.
And so, again, we have this thing that is used nationwide that began life right here in Big Sky Country. That's
wonderful,
pretty
isn't
neat
it? Yes.
if you think about
Mhm.
it. Tanya, I'd like to go back a little here. You and I both took a class a number of years ago called Living Well with a Disability,
Yes.
and Living Well in the Community is the direct descendant of that, if I understand correctly.
Yes, it is.
So can you explain a little about why the change in the name? Or?
Living Well with a Disability was the curriculum was book based, and it had the facets that Tara talked about, the courses that Tara spoke of. The Living Well in the Community platform is expanded curricula, expanded skills, training skills, kind of expanded and now available online. And so it took, excuse me, it took the book curriculum and basically expanded and has provided the information's just, there's so much information now beyond what even the book had.
Right.
It's made it more, I think it's made the information even more accessible to people, because now they can go online and they can participate and still have these resources. So it didn't change it just grew and got better, is basically what it did.
Right. And the folks who published the curriculum are very interested in feedback and what from facilitators and students. There's, I believe it's 2 or 3 surveys for the participants throughout the class.
Yes.
Yeah, to see how they like the course and how they're applying it in their life and things like that.
So again, evidence-based
Exactly. Yes.
method of.
We do one survey before class, one survey mid-class, and then we do another survey 3 to 6 months out after class to see how daily living has changed for those individuals living with disabilities. How, like Tara said, how they're applying the information to their daily lives.
Right, that's great.
And the Living Well workshop can benefit them physically, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, and socially. So there's a wide range there that
Yeah.
it can help
Yeah, it's
develop those skills and help in their everyday lives.
Okay. So, again, we talked a little bit about the environmentals, and in this first session that we're doing at LIFT will be just the in-person. We're not,
Correct, yeah.
right?
Right now, it's just an in-person in class one for my very first one.
Okay.
Eventually, I would like to do more than, and at this point, it's scheduled to have one a quarter. I'd like to do possibly more than one a quarter. Maybe also have both in-person and online, or a combination hybrid where I have people that are in there as well as having people online, so that everybody can kind of talk and
Yeah.
get different perspective. Because our area is so big,
Right.
eventually I do want to do it online, like via Zoom or something like that, so that everyone has the opportunity to take the
Yeah,
workshop.
Our service area is quite large.
Yeah, and driving
Yeah.
isn't necessarily an option.
Right. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the orientation, and that'll be January 26th.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday at 2 p.m. at the LIFT office at 1201 Grand. So let's say I come to the orientation and I decide this is for me. What do I have to look forward to in the next 10 weeks?
So that if you decide it's for you, then you would sign up in our program, and then I would give you a list of the upcoming classes and the times, and then you would come in once a week, and it'll be every Wednesday at 2 o'clock for 2 hours, you and anyone else who signs up, and then we would go over the different classes, workshops, however you want to call them, and interact and learn. You would learn about yourself, you'd learn about other people, be able to interact to determine, maybe you come in and say, hey, okay, this is a challenge I had. You can work that out with other people as well, just to continue your goals, to reach your each personal goal.
So it's a goal setting.
There is a yes.
Is a big part of the curriculum.
It is a very big part of it. That's the first thing that we work on is goal setting, so that, because that is what sets the base for the rest of it, is the goal setting.
Right.
It does. You take a goal and you work through the steps of that goal through the course.
Mm-hmm. And you also learn the differences in goals. So there's different types of goals. I mean, there's small goals, There's also, you could have a large goal, but before you can get to that larger goal, you have to do these smaller goals first. So you learn how to break that down so that it's not so overwhelming.
Right. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Exactly.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So, Tanya, again, you facilitated one of these courses before the pandemic and then an online one during the pandemic.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the examples you've seen in class?
So we do exercises during each chapter that relates to those particular chapters. Tara's right. We goal set in the beginning. We have a great exercise that I love in the beginning, and we trace our hands. Did you read that exercise? It's wonderful. And we learn about ourselves, and we learn about acceptance of living with our disabilities. We learn about how to communicate healthy. We learn about how to respond in healthy ways, to relate to people in healthy ways. There's worksheets with every chapter, but that's my favorite exercise, is the exercise where you draw the hands. I'll have to find it. It may be different now since it's been a couple
I don't remember
years.
hearing that one, but
It's great. But we talk about healthy communication, and we may do an exercise where we throw a ball back and forth to each other, and which is a physical way of saying, this is what I'm saying. Now, do you understand what do you understand what I'm saying? We go through little exercises like that. It's kind of fun. There's kind of fun exercises, but that's what the new platform has really brought into more, as far as like learning about finances and learning about budgeting and credit, and there's been all sorts of so much more information added in that it covers so much. I can't even.
yeah,
It covers so much.
like your health, how your health affects your life, and how eating healthy can help you reach those goals. Exercise, and we're not talking about running a marathon here, just your exercise could just be an activity that you like to do. It's exercise, you're moving, you're doing something, and you base it off of your abilities, of course, but there's a whole lot that we go through, and how to eat properly, and then you kind of get sent home with a little bit of homework to work on that for that whole week, and then when you come back, we talk about how it worked for you and how you applied it, and did it make a difference before we go into the next.
For those of you just tuning in, this is Living Well in Montana, a program of living independently for today and tomorrow, which is the Center for Independent Living, a resource and advocacy center for persons with disabilities, and it's serving an 18-county region of south central and southeastern Montana. My name is Jed Barton, and I am the Communications and Government Affairs Coordinator at LIFTT, and my guests are Tara Robison, an independent living specialist, and Tanya Thomas, our peer program coordinator, who are co-facilitating a course of the Living Well in Community workshop starting on January 26th. Tanya, I'd like to go back and again with your past experience, and I know there's not necessarily the aha moment. Maybe there are. Do you see those I had a science teacher years ago who talked about when you're doing a chemistry experiment or lab work, the light bulb will literally come on over your head. Do you see those in the students?
There have been a few moments where that has happened. What I notice the most is how participants come in and they might be shy to speak up in the beginning, but when they're with the other participants and they're sharing ideas and they're sharing thoughts and about how they're feeling or barriers that they've had or goals that they'd like to achieve, they're really connecting with the other participants and they're speaking up more by the time class is midway through. Sometimes they don't want class to be done because they're really getting some value from the information that we're facilitating. And what I love about this program the most is this can be for someone that is new to a disability, that is having trouble adjusting to their disability, or this can be information for somebody that has lived with their disability all their life, but maybe they're struggling with how they're feeling, or maybe they're struggling with living a healthy lifestyle, or maybe they're just struggling with acceptance of barriers that they have going on, or maybe they're just in a rut. We all have those same problems, and that's what's so great about this information, is that this information can be used daily for any little thing. If your goal is climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, that's a great goal, and we can work on that goal. But if your goal is setting up a healthy routine for you to get up in the morning and shower and have a routine to your day, that's a great goal too. So I love the diversity, and that's what I've noticed in the people that have participated, is the diversity of what they want to achieve, how they think, the perspective they bring. That's what that's where those great moments come from.
Okay. So we sort of broached some of the topics covered, and they build on each other, correct?
They do,
so
yeah.
If
So
you
you start with like the goal setting,
okay.
and so and then we have exercises and give them examples and things like that. And then the next week, we take that same concept of those goal settings, and then we move into the next session, and you bring that in there with you. And so it takes that, and then that builds on top of the next one, and then so on and so forth, all the way through all 10 workshops.
Okay, and
That way they all tie together.
right. In terms of, again, a big thing in the disability community is accommodation. I imagine the curriculum has
Yeah, it does.
many accommodations for sight and hearing and different levels of development. built
Yes.
in?
It does. So I can do standard print, I can do large print. There's a lot, for hearing, there's other things that we can do. So it just, as long as I know what it is ahead of time, I can set it up and prepare for whatever disability you may have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And digging back to a long ago course in education, very cognizant is the workshop of the different sort of ways people learn,
Mm-hmm.
that the different activities cover a wide gambit of.
It does, yeah. And part of that is also going to be on me watching and seeing and helping somebody, maybe one person, catches on like that, and somebody else, you have to explain it just slightly different. And that's okay. We all learn differently. Some people are more visual. Some people are okay verbally. I know I'm a very visual person. So, part of that'll be on me to just kind of watch and see and help adjust the class based off of that person
Okay,
and their learning style.
so to sort of come down to brass tacks, for lack of a better term, if a viewer is interested in participating in the workshop,
Mm-hmm.
who do they contact?
They can contact our office,
Okay.
and they can be referred to either me. When they contact the office, they just need to say that they're interested in the workshop, and they'll send them to me, or they can come to the orientation next Wednesday just to come in and see what it's about and see if it's something that they really want to do, and they can sign up there as well.
Okay, and our number there on the screen is 406-259-5181. And
also check
we'll
out
have
our-
some stuff on our website at LIFTT.org and on our mobile app, which is available through both the Apple and Android platforms. Again, the orientation session will be on Wednesday, the 26th of January at 2 p.m. at the Billings Lift office at 1201 Grand. Again, give us a call if you need directions or have any more questions. Tara and Tanya, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jed.
Thank you.
And
So
thanks to our audience for joining us today on Living Well in Montana. Thank you.